Yellowstone National Park has been acting strange lately. There have been lots of earthquakes, including the most powerful one in over a century. And it's not just the earth that's rumbling, but also some of its animals. People have reported hearing strange sounds coming from the park's bison, and those sounds aren't just any sounds, they're distress calls. But why are they acting so strange all of a sudden? Let's take a look at what might be causing this unusual behavior. Yellowstone National Park is full of geothermal wonders, from geysers to hot springs and more. But what people don't always remember is that there are a lot of rumblings beneath the surface. In fact, there are around 10,000 earthquakes every year. Most of them are pretty small, but some can be quite large, like the magnitude 7.2 quake in 1985. The U.S. Geological Survey recorded another large earthquake in June of 2022. It had a magnitude of 6.1. This was the largest quake to hit the area since 1985. It may seem scary, but it's actually pretty normal for this region. The area is part of the Rocky Mountain seismic belt, and it also sits on top of the Yellowstone hotspot. This means there's magma underneath the crust of the earth. All of this means that earthquakes are pretty common here. However, even though these earthquakes happen regularly, they don't usually affect the animals living in the park, or at least they didn't until recently. Visitors and staff at the park have noticed something strange going on with the bison. They've been making a lot of noise, especially during the night. Some have described the sound as a snort, while others have said it sounds like a cough. Whatever it is, they sound distressed. The noises have been heard all over the park, which makes it unlikely that they're caused by something nearby. It could be related to the recent earthquakes. Bison are quite sensitive creatures. Their hearing is incredibly acute, much better than humans. Even if a human can hear something, it's probably 10 times quieter to a bison. They can hear things far off in the distance because of how sensitive their ears are. It's likely that they can hear the sounds created by the moving tectonic plates, sounds too quiet for us to detect. The quakes themselves may not bother them, but the constant rumbling before an earthquake could make them nervous. If they feel unsafe, they might try to find higher ground. That's why some people see bison standing on top of hills or ridges. They want to get away from whatever is making the noise and causing the shaking. They're trying to get a better view to figure out what's going on. Just like humans, they probably want to see if there's anything they recognize. In the past, bison have reacted negatively to smaller disturbances in the area. During the winter of 2018 to 2019, Yellowstone experienced a series of small earthquakes. They were still pretty noticeable because there had been no large ones before that winter. The animals reacted to the earthquakes by stampeding. Bison tend to stay away from tourists, but when the earth started rumbling, they panicked and charged toward the roads. It's important to note that these earthquakes weren't large. They were between a magnitude 3 and 4. Despite this, they made the bison act erratically. This shows how sensitive they are to changes in the earth. Of course, there could be other causes for the strange noises they've been making. Bison usually make these noises during mating season. This can happen as early as May and continue all the way to August. Usually, males are the ones who make the sound. They call out to attract a mate. But as we mentioned, they can also use the noise to communicate danger. If there's a predator nearby, bison will snort and stomp to let everyone know to run for safety. They also use the noise to claim territory and assert dominance. Young male bison will leave their mother's group to find a new one. When they come across another young male, they'll make aggressive noises to tell him to leave. Sometimes these disputes get physical, but most of the time the animals will just keep making noise at each other until someone gives up. Bison will also snort at each other during fights, usually when one of them gets knocked down. The noise can be heard up to 5 miles away. Finally, bison may stomp and snort when they're approached by a predator. It doesn't matter if the predator is real or not. If a bison sees a wolf or a human, it might feel threatened and start making noise. This is probably an instinctual reaction. Wolves prey on bison, so it makes sense that they would be scared of them. However, it's important to remember that wolves don't live in Yellowstone anymore. They were wiped out in the early 1900s, which left bison without their main predator. Nowadays, they only have to worry about humans, but sometimes people can get a little too close for comfort. The same people who are drawn to the park by its natural beauty are also the ones putting the animals at risk. As the years went on, more and more people started visiting Yellowstone. In 2021, the park saw 4.8 million visitors. That's a lot of potential threats for the bison to deal with. But these visitors also bring food, and sometimes that food attracts bears. Bears are natural predators of bison. They won't hunt adult bison, but they will go after their young. If bison smell bear near them, they may act out, but they can't really do anything against the actual bears. No matter what noises they make, bears aren't going to stop hunting them. The bison just have to hope that there aren't any bears nearby when they give birth. If a bear does attack a newborn, the mother will put herself in between the two to protect her child. She might snort and stomp to scare the bear away, but she knows that she's outmatched. All these sounds the bison make can be pretty scary for people to hear, especially if they're alone in the middle of the night. It makes it seem like the earth itself is coming alive and attacking us. Thankfully, this isn't true. The animals aren't just making the noises for fun. They're trying to tell us that they're scared, and there's a good reason for that. You can probably hear the earthquakes too if your hearing is acute enough. They may not be strong enough to shake our homes, but the animals can feel it. Even if they can't, their instincts tell them to be afraid. They've evolved to react this way, and it seems like it's working. For now, they're staying away from the areas where the earthquakes are happening. But that doesn't mean they won't change their minds. These earthquakes haven't happened in a long time, so the bison may not know how to react. The last major earthquake was in 1985, almost 40 years ago. It's likely that the bison today haven't seen anything like this before. After all, they don't live to be that old. The average lifespan of a bison is 15 years, although they can live longer in captivity. This means that there may not be any bison alive today who have seen a major earthquake before. Since they pass down their knowledge through their parents, it's possible that they've never even heard stories about earthquakes. If they have, they may not believe them. Some of the older bison may be scared to move, but the younger ones may be too curious. Earthquakes are new to them, so they may want to check it out. The same goes for other animals in the park. The sounds that people have been hearing could also be coming from elk, deer, and coyotes. All these animals can make sounds similar to bison, and they're all reacting to the earthquakes in different ways. The quakes can destroy their habitats, leaving them with nowhere to live. They also kill off plants, meaning there's less food for them to eat. This means the animals have to move to find food and shelter. They'll often end up closer to people, which can lead to dangerous situations. People can feed them, which is bad for their health. They can also get into cars and buildings. In extreme cases, they might even attack humans. Even though these animals might seem scary, they're really just trying to survive. Their strange noises are just a part of that. Of course, it's important to remember that nature is unpredictable. Even if an animal seems tame, it can suddenly become aggressive. That's why it's important to listen to park rangers and stay away from wild animals. Don't try to get closer to hear the sounds they're making. It's not worth putting yourself in danger. Now watch. Do you ever hear strange sounds in your house or check out? What is blue chicken disease? Scary news?